It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a flying canine, it's a WolfHawk. It's a swooping, snarling, no use hollering WolfHawk. In the burning sun, even outlaws run when they hear that screeching howl. WolfHawk.
Ooh, we're feeling good, huh?
All right.
All right. Welcome to WolfHawk Comedy Podcast.
I'm Elliot Broder.
I'm Lizzy Wolfson.
And I'm Mac Hawkburns.
And we are here at Dude IDK Studios in hot as hell, Colorado.
Yeah, I guess it's still beautiful, but yeah.
It's beautiful, but it's hot.
It is. We are, I guess, experiencing a heat dome situation.
Yeah, I like it when it gets cool at night.
The worst kind of dome.
Yeah? The worst kind of dome. Yeah, the boys will love that one. The worst kind of dome.
Followed by the dome light in your car while you're driving.
Right, exactly. You're such an idiot. I like that. That's how we got to start. We got to start off with dick jokes right at the beginning. That's how we do it here.
It was oral sex. Not the dick specifically. Dome can be any kind of oral sex.
I've literally never heard a woman refer to head as dome.
Dome, brains.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't hear women call it a hand job, but like I do when I, give my girl the secret handshake. I call it a hand job,
Oh my
Fingering.
God. Well, all right.
Fingering, but it's still you can call it a hand job if you want.
Sorry to jump in, but I'm just getting enraged.
YouTube is gonna hate
words.
this.
It's our language, and we can use it.
The debate.
This. Our guest today has a lot of opinions about
fingering,
thumb,
hand jobs,
brains, all of the things that'll take us off YouTube immediately.
We're not saying the words exclusively until you said it. Dome, we could be talking about, a lot of domes out there. The Superdome.
Superdome, that's one of the domes.
That's one of the domes.
Good.
Now that I say that, I'm blank for domes. But
we've
got a
from
great
that Stephen King novel, Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
Half Dome, the mountain.
Ooh, half dome's not fun, for anybody, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guest. Let's go back to that.
Our guest today, she is visiting from Las Vegas, Nevada. We're so excited to have her. She's got a album out too called 5'10", 280.
5'10", 280. Check out our album on YouTube.
Go check it out on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. It's so funny. It was actually she performed at Comedy Fort.
It was recorded at the Comedy Fort in Northern
Fort,
Colorado,
which everybody has now seen. In the whole world of comedy, because it's one of the best clubs.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Everybody.
Wait, hold on. I have to say your name. They don't even know your name.
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the pod, JOZALYN Sharp.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You can talk now.
Lizzy gave you way too long of an intro.
I love that club so much. Literally, people still talk about how good the pictures and stuff look from
Comedy
the album recording, just because it's like built for recording things in.
Totally.
And it was like, and David's energy always he knew exactly what to do to calm me down right before I was about to go up. It's still my favorite memory. Yeah. I'm like standing in the hallway watching the host like explain how it's going to happen, because it's a recording. So they like pause the show.
Right.
They play this like out intro over the speaker, and they tell the audience that they need to like react and all these things. And I'm standing in the hallway, and David just comes up behind me and he goes, "Hey, Jaws, can you go up and do a few minutes?" And just like
this intro sucks. Just do a few minutes and then come back on.
And I just like laughed at the thought, like he knows I'm about to go up and record 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But for him to say that and just like break the tension for me, it's just like, and all the staff is like that there.
Yeah, he's got that dad energy.
Big time.
Yeah. He told me the other day somebody called him a zaddy the other day.
He's a bit of a zaddy.
I don't know.
I think we talked about this last week, and I don't even really know what the
I don't think anybody.
That guy you made me follow on Instagram is a zaddy.
Yeah. Donnie does one of our.
Yeah, we can agree that Donnie is
Donnie
a zaddy.
is a zaddy.
Whoa.
I don't know if David
one of our
quite
previous
qualifies.
guests.
Yeah, my ovaries felt swollen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think David has dad energy. He's definitely got
Dad. If his beard gets gray like Donnie's, then he will be a zaddy.
If he starts to go gray, maybe in like 10 years.
Just in the beard, like a little salt and pepper, real distinguished.
Donnie also is jacked, though.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah,
he's all muscle. He's just a little.
He's out there breaking elk antlers.
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully jacked.
He's out there building, with rock and
Shelters.
stone. That's a good workout, dude. I'm sure that. Yeah, like breaking a bone is a good workout.
Just cutting down trees is a good workout. That's what a great workout.
Putting up a tent.
Yeah. He doesn't do that. He builds shelters. He doesn't bring tents.
He sleeps in a hollowed out.
He'd rather sleep on the ground than sleep in a tent.
Have you ever seen that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he sleeps in a bear carcass. That's
could be Donnie.
that.
Donnie probably watched that and went, "What a great idea! We
Donnie
should
was
try
probably
that."
like, no. He was like, no. That's
Yeah.
not the right way to sleep in a bear carcass.
Yeah, he's like, if it's that,
God, these movie people ruin it every
Yeah.
time.
he hates it. He's like, you should just be sleeping in the snow and make a cave. That's what
God.
you should be doing.
Bear carcass, so unnecessary.
He's a caveman. He is a caveman for sure. Well, you are visiting for for like a week and a half.
I've
little
been.
bit?
It's an 11-day trip.
That's great.
I got here on the 19th, and I'm staying until June 30th.
Incredible.
And then I head back to Vegas.
Perfect.
Hell yeah. Is it nicer? It's pretty hot in Vegas, right? Is it nicer here
It
weather-wise?
feels better here,
Yeah.
But also worse. I don't know how to
Sure,
explain. It's like
okay.
you guys are closer to the sun, so the sun just feels like so
Oh, yeah,
oppressive.
Mm-hmm,
But in Vegas, the air just is like it's like hot and a little
Yes.
bit windy
Yeah.
and just dry, which is also dry here. So it just kind of feels like I'm at home. Except for I've been staying in Fort Collins and it's been humid, like just like a little.
Sometimes
What's
we
the
do get
deal with
humid
that?
for a little
A
bit,
little bit
and that's
muggy.
weird. That's
Yeah.
When you take the humidity out, I feel like, and you have the breeze, especially at night, I think that can be nicer.
Well, it's been also pretty hot. I feel like usually it's a little nicer here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I can't imagine it's not. It has to be less hot than Vegas. Though.
Well, the difference though is that everywhere in Vegas has central air.
yes.
That's not given here.
Right. You're
true.
just always
Yeah.
in and
Some
out
places
of
just have
AC.
window-
Yeah, and
I just
I-
had a window unit.
I'm
until
staying
last
in a
year.
house without AC. It's been fine. I have a box fan. And,
Yeah.
You know, I grew up poor, so I'm like, it just feels
We should be
nostalgic for
fine.
me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sleeping like a baby.
To me,
Yeah,
the worst
be
part,
honest.
like about we didn't have AC for a minute, is the worst part is that I would have to like wake up super early to like close the
I thought that was the
windows.
end of the thought.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
just
that
wake
was-
up.
I had to wake up.
That's how he's feeling
That
today.
also
He's a
sucked.
little sleepy.
But no, but you know, you'd have to like time it just right, you know, where you'd run the fans as soon as it got
Yep.
dark, you know, open all the windows.
Yep.
And then it was like this thing in the morning where it'd be like, I'd wake up at like the crack of dawn, and maybe sometimes not on purpose, but it would already be getting hot at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'd wake up and I'd be like, shit, I gotta
Keep
I
going.
gotta turn all these fans
Or you'd
off.
wake up at
you know?
4:30 a.m. and your house would be so cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels awesome, and you're like, oh my god, this is great. And
Yeah.
then you wake up like 4 hours later, and it's like 80
And you're
degrees
sweating.
already,
You're
and
like
You're sweat-
pasted to the duvet. Yeah.
oh yeah, you're stuck. Yeah.
That's how it was
Yeah.
when I lived in Reno. I lived in a literal trap house in Reno. I
Yeah.
had this realization the other day. I was like,
Oh.
I lived in a trap house.
Whoa.
which
You
is
didn't
a
know
weird-
at the time?
No, because we didn't really sell drugs. So we were just like the worst kind of trap house where it
Okay.
was just like a dilapidated home
Just was a-
where people who did drugs were, but we weren't selling any.
more just
Yeah.
like almost condemned housing.
No, legit. We didn't have countertops. I had a piece of plywood that I moved from countertop to countertop to like
Wow.
cook with. Like
Hell
I
yeah.
cooked for everyone in the house like I was some weird like foster mom.
Yeah.
like they needed
yeah.
it, you know? They
And
didn't-
then I was like in the most toxic era of my life, so I would like not feed people if I was mad at them. I'd be like, no, you don't get dinner tonight.
I guess, there's no more food left for you, idiot.
Too bad.
You can't- you
Maybe,
have to live-
maybe you'll get your laundry out of the dryer next time, Derek.
And you know, with like guys, I assume that you lived with men since you said Derek, but
Yeah.
I lived with all men.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
is you know they
wild.
would never know where to put the plywood away. You know, if you let them cook,
Yeah.
No.
They would
they
have
just
no idea.
leave the plywood everywhere.
And they also
Everyone
would
try-
never like wipe it down like I did, which was kind of useless, you know,
Yeah.
because it was just raw plywood. It wasn't like we veneered it or varnished it or anything.
just a sheet of plywood.
I
Yeah.
do like that part of our 30s where like we start to have memories about our 20s and we go, oh,
that wasn't
trauma.
Right.
What
No.
was I doing in that situation? But we justify it in our early 20s because we're like, we're just surviving and getting by, so we should be fine. But then all of a sudden, like 35 hits and you're like, I don't think 22 was great. 22 really wasn't that good, you know?
I literally had 2 pit bulls and a loose snake in my house.
No, that's insane.
I
What
had-
an I hate that.
I had too much money.
Snake trap house.
Snake House, you've told me all I need to know.
I hate that.
And I would put my I had this scary looking pit bull. I rescued him, and he had like a chunk of his face missing because I found him and he must have been like a fighting dog or something. But he was like super loyal to me, super sweet to me. But like sometimes people would get too. It was great because if people like got aggressive with me at parties, he was
yeah.
like
He
not
was there.
having it.
Are you
Yeah.
sure the snake didn't bite?
The snake was snakes
His
are kind of
face off?
useless. The snake was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, a water heater. This
Yeah.
is where I live forever."
Yeah, snakes not very exciting pets.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. But it was very funny one time at a party because a girl who was afraid of snakes was sleeping on our couch.
Was that me? Because that would have been me.
Yeah, dude, Lizzie, we went to a zoo in Austin just because we had had nothing
hate it.
going on, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go to the zoo." It's like a rescue zoo too.
Yeah.
And Lizzie would not go in the reptile exhibit
I didn't. I
with
didn't
the
hang out with
snakes.
it.
She was like, "How well are those cages built?"
Did that
I
girl
was like,
wake up with a snake on her?
No, are
you still
we
part
put
of her
Eve-
nightmares?
We put Eve in the living room, and Eve like crawled up on the back of the couch, and we just like took pictures of the snake laying with her on the couch.
And then you
hate
showed her that the next day. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I have to take a shower.
Yeah. She still wakes up to nightmares.
Was it like a python or something? It was like
Do you know what the thing is though? In my early 20s, I was like a bad dude. You
Oh,
know?
you were you were living.
Me
with
too.
dudes.
Like I always wore this shirt that said "My friend is a slut" and had an arrow pointing to the left, and I thought that was
Hell
like
yeah.
The
That's a funny
funniest
shirt.
thing.
comedy. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
like a funny chick.
That's a great bit.
Yeah. Wait, what kind of snake was it?
Boa constrictor.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why is
It came
that even in the
It
name?
came with the boyfriend.
Why?
Yeah, Lizzie,
Okay, sure,
you've
great.
ruined the
I
story.
hate
Lizzie's
men.
so uncomfortable now.
Yeah, there's a few different reasons that I'm gay, and that's one of them. Because sometimes you find a man and they come with a snake that has constrictor in the name. Gross. Why is that even in the
Constrictor.
name?
Listen,
I hate that.
I
Because
guess
they crush you to death before they eat you.
That's
right.
how they eat their prey.
And I hate snakes. I went into a girl's house one time that we were in the dorms together, and then it was like the year after, so sophomore year of college up in Fort Collins, and she lived kind of close, and I was like, oh my God, you kind of live close to me. This is great. We can like hang out all the time. And she's like, yeah, I live with my boyfriend. Perfect. Go over to the boyfriend's house, walk in. It's just a college house in Fort Collins. Pretty simple. We walk, get a drink. We're hanging out. We're chatting. We walk into the living room. 2 alligators
No.
in a fucking tank.
No.
The tank was as big as
Alligators.
the goddamn couch. There's
yeah.
2 alligators in the fucking tank. And I was like, I'll never see you again. Like, what if we're just never friends again? Like, this is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
What? And sometimes he lets them out, but most of the time they're in there. Sometimes he lets them out. Where? What do we live in a fucking swamp? What are you talking about?
I mean, I know Trap House Loose Boa Girl can't say anything, but I will say, I feel like an alligator is a reptile too far.
Okay, good. At least we have standards.
I
And
do
that's
have
what I
standards.
love about you, JOZALYN. You do have standards about reptiles.
I've always said that.
Lower
I've
on,
always said that.
I'm
Yeah,
lower on the totem pole, okay?
I gotta agree with you on this one. Once you get into an animal that needs an aquatic and a dry environment, that's a lot bigger
I hate
commitment.
that.
Once you get to an animal that you need to feed by spearing raw chicken carcasses
Right.
on the end of a broken broom handle,
Because that's the problem. The alligators will not stop growing.
move to
They-
Florida.
Yeah.
That's
will.
where you belong now.
I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was like how you can tell if there are alligators in a body of water in Florida. And the guy goes down and he touches the water and he goes, "It's wet." Yep. And it's like, yeah, dude.
They're
I would just
everywhere.
assume they're literally even not in wet. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just rampant
Yeah.
everywhere.
So when I was growing up, I grew up in North Alabama, so we did not have alligators, but we were kind of close to alligator country. And when I was in college, we straight up had alligators.
like in the college,
Yeah.
yeah.
like
in
a
the
Ninja
dorms.
Turtle
No,
scenario.
like we were in the
or-
range. You know, we were in the
range of Alabama.
of the range
Of the
where
Gulf.
alligators exist.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
So like sometimes in the woods, you'd see an alligator and you'd be like, okay, that's
Okay, I think a woods gator is
Woods gators?
I'm-
well, I mean,
not
like in
a
a
fan.
creek, you know, in a body of water. But
okay, but not a fan though of a
Still.
woods gator.
well, listen to
that's
this
like
story.
a Disney character.
You're gonna love this story. So I used to fish this spot like right outside of town. There was like a little creek, and I'd go out there.
I hate
And
this
I would
story.
fish.
I
and,
hate this story.
And I would wade sometimes down the stream, and there was like an old mill, and then underneath the mill was like a deep pool. So I would like walk down and I'd fish, and then I would fish that pool. And I used to do that like all the time for years. And then one day I walked in and I was like, I'm not going to wade down the stream. I'm going to walk kind of through the woods. And I came out of the woods and there was like a 10-foot alligator
Shut up, dude.
just posting up on a rock.
Shut up.
Yeah.
He lived there.
Yep, he did. He lived
He
there.
lived there.
But that's the thing,
if
though.
that alligator
I was
from
fine.
Texas and had a firearm, he would have shot you.
he would have shot you.
I
And he
well, I had a
wouldn't have gone to
firearm.
jail.
I had a
Yeah.
firearm after that. But
he got a firearm after that.
but you know, I was fine. I probably did it 100 times
Jesus
and never had
Christ.
any
It's crazy
problems,
that a lot
so.
of Americans are like nostalgic for this kind of childhood. Like,
Yeah.
we should go back to when kids were loose in the woods
Yeah.
with the gators.
No guns and gators.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I think there's a lot of lessons to be.
Yeah, sure.
lessons
Lessons
to be
learned. Perfect. I
From-
hate the woods. That's my lesson that
Yeah.
I learned in that
from
situation.
alligator, because I learned a lot about alligator habitat.
Paying attention to where they are.
And, I'm a very observant person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's important, but there's not everybody's
No,
like
yeah.
that.
but also I think, alligators aren't really that dangerous. That's my takeaway. They could have got me
Hot
anytime.
take.
I know, right?
Could have got
They're
me
also-
anytime.
Maybe you smell like shit to alligators.
Yeah.
Well, I
like,
think they
this one's not
mostly
a
eat
juicy
fish.
one.
I mean, they like to eat fish. I mean, that's their jam.
That's
so
their jam.
Maybe if I was like covered in fish guts.
Well, it depends. A lot of
Yeah.
gators and like those things eat like deer.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, they're pretty opportunistic. They'll
Yeah,
eat,
they'll eat
Yeah.
whatever.
they'll
Yeah.
eat whatever. But it's not like, in like the I feel like people in America, when they think of alligators, they're thinking about crocodiles. In Africa, they get like
Big.
huge. That actually
Big.
eat people.
I could
Yeah.
see a 1-foot alligator and be noping the fuck
Yeah.
out of it.
No,
right
dude. If
now.
you saw a 1 foot,
They're pretty
alligator,
cute, actually.
you'd be like, yeah,
They're pretty
it's-
cute. Yeah, I take that back.
they're perfect. A 1 footer is perfect. Their little tail would be.
Yeah, and they got those weird little eyes. Yeah. Okay,
They
but
make little noises when they're babies too. They make like a little like barky noise, like to
Yeah, but
call
see,
their mom.
We're now
So they're
on
like,
the line. We're on the line of okay, but I could have that in
They
my house in a
convince you.
tank,
I would never.
right? But that's the thing. Like that's what we're close. This is what this
well,
conversation.
but no.
is
But
getting.
imagine if an alligator never got that big.
If it was
Sure.
a tiny alligator,
like a mini, like you know how they
Like a
mini-
lizard. Now we're just getting into
yeah,
lizard
I'll just get
territory.
a bearded
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah. Get a bearded dragon. Get a bearded dragon. That's
Those are
better.
pretty
That's
cute.
better. Yeah. So Jocelyn, you grew up in Nevada, which does not have alligators.
No, we don't have much wildlife. I grew up in northern Nevada, which is like the quote unquote oasis of Nevada. So
Yeah.
we have like ducks and deer and also like scorpions.
Let's rewind. Wait, the quote unquote oasis.
That's what it's called. It's called the oasis of Nevada.
Why?
The oasis.
Because it's like all desert around where I grew up. Fallon is like this agricultural
Oh,
center.
so it's like an actual
So it's
oasis.
like, it's like greenery and there's like lots of trees and it's at the base of the Rockies because it's an hour away from Reno and
Is it like
Okay.
a pocket where like you can grow more stuff? Because we have that kind of close to Durango, right?
Microclimate.
like
is
a
what you're looking
microclimate, like where they
yeah, like
grow
we
like
would
peaches
get,
down
we
there.
would get it's the desert, but we would get snow, we would get
Right.
rain,
Yeah.
we would get all the
for. So
seasons.
it's a literal oasis. That wasn't the name of the casino.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but
It was
I
both.
say quote unquote because it's
It's
just-
still dry. It's just less dry.
yeah, it's just still like there's nothing like that lush and green about it other than you can grow crops. If
It's
you try.
comparatively to what people think also of Nevada. Because people
Yeah.
think Nevada, they think Las Vegas. I'm
Yes.
from New York. People say immediately New York City, which is
Yeah.
just a small part of New York.
Yeah.
And New York
Right.
is also
And
one of the
I'm-
most diverse agriculture states.
Yeah.
For the rest of the state.
It's true. Yeah, a lot
in
of grapes
diversity.
up north. And I'm
Right.
from Alabama, and people just think racism. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
which is accurate.
Which is yeah.
We've got it.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. He's
Number
not.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, not proud of it or anything,
He
but
left.
it is there. We definitely have it.
It's there and it exists.
I think
still.
most places in America also have it.
Actually,
but
yeah, I think majority.
they're
I mean,
less known
Nevada.
for it.
I was gonna say
Nevada's racist
I grew
as
up
shit.
in Fallon. It ain't no better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, bro.
I was so
It's white. It's a white state.
I was so ignorant to other cultures growing
Yeah.
up that even like I'm mixed. My biological father's half black and my mom's half indigenous. And when kids at school found out that I was a quarter black, they started
Yeah.
calling me the N-word.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's a rural.
wild.
very rural.
They're like,
town.
we don't have that much opportunity
And
here.
there's like literally 8 black people. There was like
A
8 black
new
people
person
in the whole
for
school.
us to
In the
subject-
whole school, there was 8 black people and like
and a quarter.
and a quarter, 8 and a quarter.
and like a bunch of native kids and a quarter, and then a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of
Yeah.
Mexican kids. But there was like no exposure to other cultures,
No.
and it
Yeah.
was so small town minded that racist things were perpetuated so
Sure.
Yeah.
openly and weirdly that like I didn't even think of things like it took me until I got older to like not rap along to the N-word.
Right,
Like, because
right.
growing up, everyone was like,
Like,
well,
yeah,
what's
you're
the
just-
big
you're
deal?
just singing
Or just a
along.
quarter of the song.
Yeah.
Like you
well,
can do.
I just say that.
Like you hit it. Yeah.
I just say that.
Yeah, no, the South. I mean, I think that's one thing I will say for the South is that where
There's
I grew
more
up at
cultural
least.
diversity.
Yeah, it's a lot pretty hard to avoid. You know, I mean, there's
you're
parts of the
exposed
South.
and you're exposed to different religions and stuff. Whereas
Yeah.
I was only exposed to a couple. Like I grew up in a predominantly Mormon town. Like,
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
So
well, that's the
Mormons
same.
are
We have like the Church
wild
of Christ
out
and the
there in
Baptists.
Nevada.
Like we've got kind of the southern.
you have
know,
the southern version of Mormons.
similar. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
the
quite
Baptists.
as weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they do have some weird stuff. Like some of the Church of Christ and the Serious Baptists in the South, they don't believe. They think that singing is like sinful.
Cool.
Yeah,
What
so
a
I
cool
remember like
thing.
going to like a friend's church, or maybe one of my siblings
Singing.
went to a friend's church, and they like hummed.
Yeah.
They like got out a hymn book, and it was like
Because they couldn't sing.
the priest would talk, and everyone would hum along like it was a weird like.
It's a slippery slope from singing is evil to sacrificing virgins. I think.
yeah.
When
Yeah,
humming, I
dude.
mean, this experience was very strange. I mean, I can remember just everybody humming together, and it was like this is weird. This is a cult.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And I was
They're
raised
all-
Catholic,
so
which
wait,
we've
we
got all
say-
kinds of weird rituals and
Yeah,
shit.
they're
you
like
know?
kneel, stand up, kneel,
Yeah.
stand
Yeah,
up.
and
do
the priest
Macarena.
sings. Every once in a while, the priest sings words, which
Yeah.
that was my favorite part. Where they'll just be like, "And now let us pray." And
Oh,
you're like,
that's the
what?
best
I
Where
went
did
to a
that?
Roman Catholic church, so our
Oh, he
priest
sang
spoke
all the
Latin.
time. Oh, you still did the
wow.
Latin shit.
Yeah, so I was just like,
Oh, okay.
I got nothing.
When I was like really
I'm not
young,
really sure. Can I say part of the N word in this one? Can I say a quarter of it?
Did you just say the N word? I think you did.
I think he did.
I have a very like
Don't know what he's saying. Actually.
I can barely remember like a little bit of Latin.
Well,
Yeah.
they don't even like give you a translation.
Sure.
They don't give
No.
you like. There's no like program. They're just like he just is up there talking in Latin for an hour and a half.
Oh, so you still had the whole mass. I remember when I was really young, I remember the priest would do like a couple of Latin prayers, which I also thought was weird because he would just switch like no big deal, and you just start speaking gibberish.
The
Yeah.
only
Like,
thing
this
that
is
wasn't
weird.
in Latin was the "Peace be with you" prayer, like,
So the classic, wow, that's that old school.
and also with you. But now it's
Oh yeah, with peace or something.
there's
they
they
keep
switched
changing
it up.
it.
They
They
changed
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
They
don't know.
changed
The
it?
new
Yeah,
pope.
they changed it.
The new pope. He's been laying down the
Interesting.
law.
He's like, gays are cool, and I'm changing the lyrics.
and
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm doing my Taylor Swift version.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is Taylor's
yeah.
version.
But
was
he
like,
recently
really?
also said something using the F word too. So in
Well,
like
you know,
a-
he
The
is
F
an
slur?
old Italian man.
yeah, yeah.
because not fuck, right? Because that would be cool. We're talking
Yeah,
about
that
the
would
F-
be cool.
That would be sick.
The F
Yeah,
slur.
yeah, yeah.
He was like, "You guys
Yeah.
down with Jesus fucking Christ or
Yeah,
what? You know he
Yeah.
fucking died for your fucking.
You guys aren't
sins.
down with Jesus? Fuck you.
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. I'm gonna give you a guess on which one it is, and it's not that one.
No, we had
Fig.
I said
Yeah.
the slur. That's why. That's how I differentiate. I said the F slur.
Slur, yes,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes, instead of word. You're right. I should probably say
F
slur
word
instead
versus
word.
which I know. I just did a. This is a funny bit that we just did. That Hawkburns just did. I did a game show on a local show
You-
called
okay, yeah.
called Lure or Slur, where I took the names of fishing lures, and then I was just like made audience members guess.
If it was a slur or
A
a
lure.
fishing lure.
But I did it in a southern accent like that so that it rhymes, you know. Mm-hmm. Slur or lure.
He likes wordplay.
But they're all lures. That was the joke.
Yeah.
It
They
was
were
all
all lures.
lures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100% lures.
Yeah, yeah. There was no. He didn't ever say a slur, but they do sound like it.
But they sounded
Unfortunately.
a lot like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
We tricked them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of wild names and there's a lot of like jigglers and
Yeah.
things like that and like fish. I used to love fishing, so
Really?
yeah.
Did you fish in Nevada?
Yeah, there's a lot of like, especially in northern Nevada, there's a lot of like fishing holes and like people will have
Yeah.
private reservoirs and stuff. Like we would go fish in a private fishing hole. I can't think of what we called it, like Grasshopper Creek or something. But you needed like a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get there because you had
get
to like
there.
you had to like drive
Wow.
up rocks and then you would
Whoa.
drive over a creek and then all of a sudden there would be this like green clearing that was like perfect for a few tents and a fire.
That's
The
great.
oasis. So the fishing was good then?
The fishing was
Well, it
great.
sounds like the
Yeah.
camping was good
It
too.
was no, we would limit out every day. The camping
Oh,
was great.
really?
But like we
and you're like trout fishing up there, I guess,
it
right?
was trout, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also did like a lot of like just like chilling and having a great time, but there was like a lot of stuff that camping up in the middle of the desert mountains that you're not prepared for.
Mountain
Good thing
lions?
good thing we were like desert rednecks, so we were all like gun
Savvy,
toting high
yeah.
schoolers.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Everybody had a
Get in the
gun.
truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you got bears, you got mountain lions, you got coyote.
Well, and we could hear something every night. And one night we got up and there was paw prints all over our campsite.
Did
'Cause
you guys?
we had strung up our trout in the creek, so they would just stay good in the creek, and we could just reach in and grab them.
They came and got
do you
them.
think that mountain lions just do that to fuck with people? Because I've also been camping in like Montana, and we woke it up and there's just paw prints. But like, do you think sometimes they see
No, dude, they're just-
campsites?
I
and they
think
just
it smelled the
walk
fish
through?
because we were
Oh.
the way we were cooking the trout is I was cutting up potatoes and onions and stuffing the trout with seasoning and potatoes and onions, wrapping them in foil,
Let's
and
go,
then
dude.
burying them under the coals, and then so we would wake up and we would have that for breakfast.
Incredible.
And
So they were
Yeah.
looking for the.
That's
fish.
like a part. That's like the thing they tell you not to do.
yeah, they're like, don't
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 do
leave cooking
don't Martha
food
Stewart
out.
slow cook your
Yeah,
fish.
yeah.
I was basically like, hey, mountain lions.
Yeah. You want this fish? Go find it. It's
But
right
I also
here.
think, I think mountain lions especially are a lot like domesticated cats in that they are just curious.
Curious, yeah.
And they'll honestly.
But they're also territorial. So if I'm in its territory, it's going to be like, who the
Yeah.
fuck are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, why are you putting fish in the ground?
Yeah. You fucking weirdo.
You're ruining it.
You're ruining it. Stop ruining it.
You're making it hot?
Yeah. I like it cold. I like sushi.
Yeah, a friend of mine growing up used to trap for bobcats in the south. They have like
Yeah.
a small little,
They
bobcat.
have, a lot of my friends grew up trapping as like their summer jobs.
Oh, wow.
But he one time told me like a sort of trapper's secret, which I thought was really interesting because I didn't ask, but he like he just offered it up one day. It was like, yo, you know the secret, and he was like,
sure, buddy. Secret.
but his secret was just shiny. He would put like a shiny piece of metal, and that was how he would trap
'cause
them
animals
they
are
would they
curious.
would just come over like a house cat and just be like, and then be like, oh damn, I'm in a trap now.
I heard of trappers up in Wyoming, and they would. I'm glad that I'm talking and the camera's looking at me while I'm scratching my
You're
nose.
rubbing your face.
Run that back.
Like the
Yeah.
tiredest person that ever existed.
So sleepy all the time. No, I heard of a trapper up in Wyoming, and they would use donuts for the bears. So they would throw a bunch of donuts down, and the
Damn.
bears like sweets.
Bear
Because
will
Do you think
everybody's
it's different?
actually
Like,
Pooh
do you
Bear.
think the California bears need like sushi or like
Yeah. I think
New
they're-
York bears need a hot bagel?
Yeah,
I
they
feel
don't.
like it's-
I don't think that California bears like Krispy Kremes. Okay, but
I don't think they-
Wyoming is like
I don't
this
think
is
they
like
let
a
you
delicacy.
hunt. They probably don't let you hunt bears like that in California.
I don't think that you're allowed to do that. I actually don't
I
think
don't
that was
even
legal.
think you're allowed to say the word gun in
Yeah.
California.
Well, I know the baiting thing in some places is illegal. They don't let you.
I don't think you're really supposed to be baiting.
bait them because it's pretty
No.
unfair.
Yeah, because you're just
For the
bringing
bear.
them in. For the
Yeah,
bear.
and it's also like something that doesn't exist in the wild, so the smell is crazy.
Right, and
It's
they're
like-
gonna look for it too in garbage cans and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I do think that Northern California though is kind of similar to Northern Nevada,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
there
well,
is-
they're
It's wild.
a little hotter,
Well,
maybe.
Fallon is 4 hours away from Sacramento.
okay,
Okay.
4.5-ish hours
Right.
away. Yeah,
Sacktown.
Is that what they
Everybody
call it?
knows. Yeah, they do. They call it Sacktown.
Okay.
I didn't just make that up.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
This is a man of the world of Alabama.
Oh, I know. He knows a lot of roads.
I've been to
routes,
Sacramento. Okay, I've been there.
intersections.
They have
interstates.
They have a really nice arboretum on the Capitol lawn there.
All right. And I don't know what that is. What is that?
An arboretum. It's like an arboretum. What? How do I even describe? An arboretum is like a.
Something with trees.
Yeah, it's like
I
It's
don't know.
it's like a zoo. It's like a zoo for trees.
You know Latin from church, right?
It's like a zoo for trees.
Oh, okay,
Stupid.
okay.
You
okay.
mean Earth?
Yeah. You mean all of Earth?
Yeah, but it's curated by people. So
Okay.
basically, you can.
Tree
there's
freaks.
Yeah.
there's like 100 or more
Different trees.
tree species that
Okay.
are strategically
I know
planted.
people that like stuff like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I remember I ate when I was there. I got to eat for the first time a tree I had heard
Arboretum.
of, but never had. Called like it's a pine tree that produces a little edible fruit
Oh, that's cool.
called like a pine cherry.
Yeah.
Um,
I was watching one of Donnie's videos. No, maybe not. Maybe I was just searching for other videos like Donnie's so I could come up with questions. And there were people that were like putting holes into trees and water was coming out.
oh yeah, that's how they make maple syrup.
Yeah, but they were getting water.
Well, yeah, that's what
For
it's
survival.
water when you get it for maple syrup. They have to like cook it down.
have to
into
distill
syrup.
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you live on it? Before
Well,
you
it's-
cook it down?
before you lose your foot to diabetes, or
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
This is survival. This is
Yeah,
we're just
but
trying
there's
to get by.
I think there's a seasonality to it. I don't think you
Yeah.
can just go
Oh.
tap in a tree and water.
Well,
comes
and I
out.
don't know
think
that
it-
when you're in the wild, you're gonna have the means to slow cook down, and you need a lot. Like,
Right, a
you would need a
lot.
lot to survive.
Well, no,
and
she just means drinking
like
the
you
tree
could drink
water.
it. You could
Just
drink the
for
tree water. And
I don't
you'd
think
be
it would
okay.
hydrate you.
It wouldn't hydrate you. It would just
I
get you
think it's
by a
just
little bit.
water, but I don't. I think there's a lot of drawbacks to.
Somebody call Donnie.
drinking
Can we
tree
get-
water.
Can
Why
we
are
get
we
Donnie on the
discussing
call?
this?
I know.
Whenever I camped, I brought plenty of water.
You brought plenty of water.
Right.
Do you still enjoy camping?
I wish I camped more. My husband has been sending me campsites because I did tell him I do want to go start
Okay.
camping again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It just in Vegas, it's like it never seems like
Good weather for it. or-
no. It's like
Yeah.
in the winter it's so cold, and in the summer it's too
I'm sorry,
hot.
what?
Yeah, it's really cold in
No.
winter.
What? How cold?
It at night it gets to like 31, 30.
Really?
Yeah, so it gets really cold, and it's always windy there. So when it's windy and
Right.
Yeah,
30,
yeah.
it feels like,
That's gonna suck.
and it's dry.
Wind is the
and
worst
so
when
it's
it's
just like
camping.
yeah, you don't want to be in a tent with wind.
No.
That part sucks.
I
Oh,
went on
God.
a freaking. I was thinking about this the other day. I went on a freaking field trip in the 4th grade. Mr. Plants, shout out,
Shout
took
out.
us to the Great Basin National Park on a week-long camping trip.
Yeah.
And so there was parents that came as like chaperones. Everybody brought camping equipment. They had like a big tent where we would eat all our meals
Yeah.
as a class. But this is a field trip.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's-
there alone because my mom raised me as a single mom.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I have my little tent. I'm all alone, and it's Great Basin National Park, so it's so windy. And the door to my tent rips off the first night.
No way.
On a school field trip. That's
Oh
crazy.
my god.
The next morning, the gross kid in class, his little sister barfed all over the back of me. And then my teacher was like, "Are you coming to the ice caves?" I was like, "I'm gonna kill myself."
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not.
Actually, I didn't think I would do that today. I thought killing myself would be a better
Yeah,
idea.
it was horrible. Eventually, one of the parents took pity on me, and she was like, "Come sleep in my tent with me." And I was like,
yeah.
"Thank you."
Yeah, you're like, I don't have a door.
I was literally
Thank you.
freezing. Do you know what the teachers did? They duct tape a trash bag. to
That's
the front
why
of
they didn't know
That's
what
a-
they were
that's a-
doing.
yeah.
They were probably trying hard. That's probably
They
that
were
was
like-
their reasoning.
We
Yeah.
didn't prepare for a child to have its door ripped off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's but you still that being an early camping experience, you still enjoy.
I still
it?
loved it because
Yeah.
I loved like everything about it. I loved that food is like hard to make and like get.
Yeah, dude, I love cooking on
I
fire.
and even just like they fed us a lot of cup noodles. Like they would have this giant vat of boiling water, and we'd get a sandwich, and they'd pour hot water, and just
Yeah.
having like that sort of not fully cooked cup noodles with a sandwich. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just like it. I
That's
like.
fun.
Yeah, I liked being
Yeah.
outside. I liked the sun. I like being. I'm more of a lake camp person now.
Okay.
I like to be somewhere that's almost like beach-y. So I
Yeah,
grew
there
up
was
camping
this
on
nice
Yeah.
water.
yeah, I want to be able to like swim or fish.
That's
or,
great.
you know.
I do think that also the energy in your 20s or your teens, especially the energy in your teens, you're like, sure, everybody load up, we'll be fine. But like once you hit your 30s, you're like, I don't know if I can.
Well,
just...
I need my Aspercream.
Yeah,
and,
right.
I better
Yeah.
bring the heating pad. We're
Yeah.
gonna need a generator for
you
the
got the
heating pad.
Tylenol. You got the Tylenol, right? You
Yeah,
know.
and like we would stay out camping. Like we skipped grad night, me and my friends, and we just stayed at the lake. We would camp until we ran out of food.
Yeah.
And then we would
Then go
call
back.
somebody and be like, bring us snacks so we could spend a whole extra day.
Right.
And then go back.
That's great.
That's how much we love being out there.
Of course.
And it was a disgusting lake. It's disgusting.
right.
Well,
It's
this
a
is,
shithole.
it sounds to me like you lived in a pretty rural area, though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
yeah, it's a. I
Why
think it's a
not?
little different when you're like when you
what are
live
you
in the
missing
city.
out on in town?
Yeah.
I mean, grad night was just like bouncy houses and like freaking
Yeah,
carnival games and
Yeah.
some like event center. Whereas like, we were pounding beers and listening to AC/DC.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more fun.
We were having way
dude.
more fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
much more fun.
And my mom had gotten me a Chevy Avalanche for graduation, so I was like showing it off, like driving around the beach in my Chevy Avalanche.
Of course. Yeah, you got a new car.
I was
Let's
literally
go.
living the 90s teen movie dream of
Yeah.
my life.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, the Avalanche was like the SUV truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you put it in truck mode.
Yeah. I
Lay
was
back
like,
there.
it's not just a luxury vehicle.
I feel like everybody in Nevada has a truck.
Well, and it's also like a weird dick measuring contest
Yeah.
between all
Sure.
genders.
Status. Yeah.
It's status. Like the rich guy in town he was one of my friends. His parents owned like the big construction company. He legitimately got mad at me, did not talk to me for 3 days when I showed up at camp with that Chevy Avalanche.
Really?
Because he asked for one for graduation and didn't get one.
He was jealous?
He was jealous.
Yeah.
Oh, what a big fucking
You truck
baby.
cucked him.
Which is also why I did truck cuck
You
him.
truck cucked him.
I did. Which is also why I was kind of like showboating with it a little bit because I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
win. Sorry. I mean, and also I always hated when he would get upset when people would get things that he wanted, and he would get upset about everything. PlayStation.
He's just a jealous boy.
He had a $500,000 drag racing car because he did drag racing as a hobby.
That's insane.
Like-
what an
Yeah.
insane thing for a child.
Like, well,
That's crazy.
Why are you
Weird
mad
hobby.
because I
It's
got?
like, yeah, it's also a weird. Yeah, that is a weird hobby. Drag racing. That's. I mean, I guess you guys have long, flat roads.
I mean, I
They're known for
literally
that.
grew up in a town where I still get emotional sometimes when I hear Toby Keith. That's the,
Okay.
the only way I can explain
Okay.
the energy.
Like we were talking at the
just
beginning of the
rural.
pod, trauma.
Well, I think the older I get, the more I realize that rural America is pretty much the same everywhere.
yeah, and
You
and,
know.
and it's just you just take everything so seriously, and you're like, I'm really tough. I'm kind of Jason Statham, but a little
Right.
bit Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
Right.
I don't know how else to explain it other than it is always kind of a little bit of a dick measuring contest. Like I didn't
course.
even know how to flirt with guys. Like when I moved to Vegas, I was like, do you want to arm wrestle? Like
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
shotgun a beer faster
Yeah.
than you. Like,
That's great. I love that. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that that's what happens in rural towns. And then also, I like the idea that this guy was so upset about a truck that, like, to this day, probably when he sees an avalanche on the road,
I
even though
hope
they don't
so.
even make them anymore, I
I
don't
hope
think,
so.
right?
Dude, I heard
No.
He still gets mad. He's still
Dude,
like, that's a stupid car. You know, those are dumb trucks.
Dude,
Those are
have you-
stupid fucking trucks. And he
it
doesn't
was pretty
actually
fucking
hate
stupid.
it.
It got like 20 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like not really much of a truck in
No.
truck mode. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the
It
worst
goes
of both
so
worlds.
slow. And like they all came with tonneau covers. So you're like, hang on, I have to do this Chinese memory puzzle in order to get to my bed in my truck.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever owned a truck with a tonneau cover, but
I don't even know what that is.
that's the flat cover.
Like on
Oh,
the,
it like
on the
folds
bed?
up.
Oh, yeah.
But it does, you'd think it's just going to be like a simple fold up, but some of them have clicks, some of them have clasps.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
You have to
Mine
know it.
was like a slide and then click and then slide again. It was the worst
Yeah.
version of it. And I was literally a 17-year-old girl who like played with Barbies until 4 years before that.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And then
you
you were
were
like,
tryna-
I want a truck, Mom. Fuck these Barbies.
Did you guys hear? Speaking of Chevy Avalanches, did you guys hear that they caught that serial killer because he was driving a Chevy
No.
Avalanche?
Which one?
The one in New York, the Long
Really?
Island, the Gilgo Beach.
The Gilgo Beach Killer was
Slash-
that's right.
Interesting.
He was driving a Chevy Avalanche, and it was a unique enough vehicle.
That's
that
right. It
someone
was the
remembered
Gilgo
it.
Beach
Well,
Killer.
because he's caught.
Totally him.
Yeah. It did have an interesting look, right? Like there was like, it was
Yeah,
like
it-
matte on the back, like the pieces that attached.
Yeah,
Right?
and there was like these weird triangle things on
Yeah,
the
the little
back.
kind of triangle.
So that's why. So it was a
Yeah.
unique enough looking truck where it wasn't just a basic
Oh,
like
yeah.
But also
F-150.
now it makes sense that you talk about how they have. What did you call the cover?
A tonneau cover.
Yeah, because
To
if he was
pop
killing
it.
people, he could just
Yeah.
put him in the bed.
Yeah. No, he was probably thinking.
the tonneau cover
I think
on
he
there,
probably.
you know?
He
I mean-
probably planned that out.
He
He just
bought it
didn't realize
for
that he had a
purpose.
weird looking pickup truck, and that's what fucked him up. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually how they caught him. That was a really weird segue.
Yeah.
I just-
It's like if somebody was killing people and they had an F550
Or a Cybertruck.
and people kept on saying, "Oh well,
yeah, dude, the Cybertruck
Right.
killer.
yeah,
It is
There's
the
just
truck.
a blood smear across the side of it.
There might be more
autopilot
Cybertrucks
on
than
the
F50,
Cybertruck.
F550s though. F550 is like not. It's really not common. So if they
No.
kept on seeing the 550
Yeah.
on there, you could narrow it down pretty fast.
Yeah.
You could easily narrow it down.
God,
pretty
dude,
fast.
I'm laughing at this, but we probably are maybe only a year or two away from the Cybertruck killer.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
Humans
for
love to
sure.
murder each other, apparently.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And I feel like there's a lot of advantages to an electric vehicle. You could sneak up on people, you know?
because you can't hear it.
What is
Yeah,
this?
can't hear it.
Is this a sponsored? Is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
a
it's
live
a sponsored
read
ad.
I'm
for
just listen,
Cybertrucks
No,
for
no,
serial
it's,
killers?
I'm very anti-Cybertruck.
and,
but,
and serial killing.
And serial killers.
yes, but I'm just saying that Cybertruck has a serial killer-y vibe, I guess is really what I'm getting at here.
It does. It has like the ultimate serial. It feels like if you're in a video game and the point is to kill serial killers, the boss serial killer would show up in that truck.
That car.
Yes, you're right. He would.
Like you would beat one boss and you'd be like, phew, I beat that boss. And then that truck would like skid up.
And then the Cybertruck would be like, hey, take all your clothes off, kid.
Yeah. What the fuck?
No, fight it.
Yeah.
Take all your clothes off. I don't know where that came from.
He doesn't play a lot of video games. He's just trying to be relatable.
Oh, okay.
No,
He fishes a
also
lot.
because the Cybertruck, it's a pedophile serial killer vehicle.
Oh, okay. You didn't share that thought, so
Really throwing the
Sometimes he
Cybertruck
just
under
says
the
things.
bus
And he doesn't
here.
share the thought. Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a bit of a gap on that one. I agree. There was some
I
space
missed the
there.
pedophile part.
But that's it's a very evil boss. Is the
Evil,
point.
It is
Very
evil boss
truck,
vibes.
evil boss.
Evil
And we're
truck.
ready for it. We're ready for it for sure.
Uh,
It looks like a spaceship, kind of, right? Is that the whole idea that it kind of looks like a spaceship?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I
It looks like a
honestly-
32-bit rendering of a Lotus Elise.
What are all those words? Oh, yeah?
It's like a old school video game rendering of this like semi-affordable luxury car.
Right there. Right.
Yeah,
that
like
makes
the car
sense.
that
makes sense.
the car that in the beginning of Breaking Bad that Walt is driving.
Okay.
It's like a Saturn,
Yes.
I want to say,
Yeah. So it's like kind of rounder.
but it's got that same shape to it, that long,
Yeah.
yeah.
hatchbacky.
We're ready for it. I'm ready for the
Future.
the future of
He's not gonna get me.
murderers. Yeah, he's not gonna get me. Not in that
What do you
car.
guys think the Cybertruck version of a Subaru is going to look like? Because that's what
Oh,
y'all
I
are
don't
going to have out
know.
here.
I'm still waiting for Subaru just to put out a pickup
I think
truck.
Subaru has like a hybrid. Well, they have that one with a weird little bed thing too.
That's true.
No, they don't make that anymore.
They don't anymore, but they used
Baja,
to.
yeah.
The Baja, yeah.
Yeah, Baja stopped like maybe 10 years ago, if not more. I think it was like 15.
You're up to date on the Subaru.
Yeah, because I want a Baja. I want a Baja, but the problem is anytime you go look for a Baja, it has 180,000 miles on it, and you're like, well, I could probably get another 100 out of it because it is a Subaru, but I don't know if I can or not. And so because they haven't made it, and I'm sure that's the same thing with the Avalanche. If you're looking for an Avalanche right now, there's no way that you can find anything close to 100,000 miles.
There's a good one in the police
because they just stopped
impound
making
lot
them.
in
Yeah.
Gilgo Beach.
Yeah.
They'll sell
one's-
that for government
one
auction
might-
eventually.
Yeah, that one actually
Lightly
might be a good
used.
fucking
Some
deal.
stains.
Yeah, that might be a fucking good deal.
Government auction, dude. You just got to wait a long time.
Yeah, until they take that. Yeah.
That's why I mean, this is going to be a hot take. I sometimes have a hard time shopping in thrift stores, specifically Goodwill, when I found out that sometimes people just drop off entire estates. So you're like just getting like a dead person's.
Yeah.
Clothes.
You know when you go through and you're looking at like the knickknacks, and then there's all of a sudden there's just like a lot of chickens.
Yeah.
And they're just all there's just 45
Somebody
chicken
died.
knickknacks. Yeah, I
Someone's
think somebody
whole
died.
collection.
Somebody kept they kept like 3 chickens of like little figurines.
grandkid's
and then
gonna
they
take a
gave,
chicken.
Yeah, and then they gave the rest of it.
What makes you
Pretty well.
uncomfortable about that? Because for me, I'm like,
Good deal.
well, I wouldn't say I'm like good deal, but I'm like, you know.
I think because I grew up, I talk about this a lot. I believe in ghosts. And
Okay, so you're superstitious.
a
about
little
it.
bit, yeah, because I grew up in an indigenous household. Spirits and stuff are part of our life.
So it's
It's like normalized. Like it was kind of like one time when I saw a ghost in my house when I was a kid. I told my grandma, I go, Grandma, I think I saw a ghost, and she goes, Yep.
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 Okay. Speaking of trauma, that's a great answer.
It was actually a pretty good answer because
That's a really
I wasn't
good
really,
answer.
and it's probably why I saw more stuff as I got older, is because wasn't really scared of it.
Because we're taught that we're supposed to be afraid of ghosts from
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that, because that makes it
No, dude.
interesting.
Well, Casper,
You
the
know?
friendly ghost.
Yeah,
well, that
besides
just
that
made
one.
me horned up for ghosts.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
that was
that
like,
was,
I'm gonna-
that was an extreme overcorrection.
I'm trying to fuck this ghost.
I'm trying to fuck Casper.
There's a lady in my hometown that allegedly fucked a ghost, and she wrote a book about it.
Oh.
Ectoplasm, more like ecto-orgasm plasm.
If you told...
She said that like the ghost, and she described it as like the ghost going in you.
Yo,
like, you know,
okay.
like because they're
yeah.
clear
Yeah.
or whatever.
People say it happens. Kesha said she fucked a ghost.
There you
Really?
go.
And I believe her.
Have you ever asked your grandmother that?
I would never ask her. My grandmother's told me some wild stories, but I would never ask her,
Grandma.
Hey, Grandma, have you ever fucked a ghost?
So
No. Or have you ever heard of people fucking ghosts? Because that's what I'm hearing in the news. And she'll go, yep.
She probably would, to be
Yep.
fair.
Yep.
she'll be like, yeah, actually, there's a.
No.
There's a spell for that. I don't want to offend your culture.
You have a limited knowledge of indigenous people, don't you?
Well, I also just didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
Spell.
I didn't want to be
Seance?
offensive.
Yeah. There's
than
so many
anything.
words. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Well, and I was
Let's
also
go.
a little goth girl, so it applied because I
you
was
were down.
Wiccan. Yeah.
So
know.
you went to you grew up in Fallon,
Or I should say I thought I was Wiccan. I never really practiced.
Really practiced.
and then you moved to Reno for school.
I moved to Reno because that's
The closest.
I moved to Wyoming because
Where?
that's where my high school boyfriend moved.
No.
So I followed a boy to Laramie, Wyoming.
Okay.
Laramie.
Okay, not far away from.
It was very nice. I liked it. It was cheap. We had a 2-bedroom apartment for $500.
That's great.
Me
Also
and my
windy.
friend.
windy. Yeah.
Very windy, very cold. I immediately got a job working for what was a Verizon subsidiary called Alltel, and I was selling cell phones and stuff,
Great.
I was making too much money.
Okay.
Partying too hard.
Yeah.
I bought a 1978 Dodge Power Wagon I saw on the side of the road, like some coming of age Reba McEntire movie.
Incredible.
I literally drove
Yeah.
past it and then got to a stop, pulled back, and saw the little for sale chalk.
And you're like,
and
"Bitch,
walked
I
into
got
this
this
field,
dough."
and there was this farmer, and he was like, "You want the truck?" And I was like, "Yeah, can I give you cash for it?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'll give you half now and half later." And he was like, "Yeah." And so I
Really?
took the truck, and all these guys that I'd been hanging out with started helping me fixing it up on the nighttime, and I would drive it around town and stuff. And
I mean, Larry's very cute. Second biggest city in Wyoming.
I was living my country music fantasy.
Of course. It is a
know.
very cute town.
I left the suds in the bucket and the clothes hanging out on the line.
You went to Laramie,
on
Wyoming.
the
You didn't go that
truck.
far. All right, relax, okay?
Having cheap
I
ranch.
think for that song, she's going to Los Angeles to go become a star.
But Laramie from Fallon is like
Los Angeles?
kind of. I mean, Laramie has a college.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. And again,
It's the big, bright
second
city.
biggest city in Wyoming.
I
second
think you
biggest
gotta
city in
if you come from a really small town, I think you have to ease into I left the South and moved to Fort Collins.
similar move.
But
Yeah.
it's like I couldn't have gone straight to Denver. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
been ready for that.
Yeah.
been overwhelmed,
You know what I mean? It would have been
yeah.
too much.
I agree.
Just the stress of all the interstate travel would have been a lot for me. Maybe.
Yeah, because you can actually
can still
in
bike
towns
around
like
in
that, you
Fort
can
Collins,
go to somebody's house and pull up to the front of their house.
Yes.
And park right in front behind their
Yeah.
car.
There was literally a giant slab of cement in front of the house I grew up in front
Yeah.
of.
right.
Like,
Right.
House parties growing up, there was just
Park over
cars
here.
all in front of houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. No, of course. That
We were all
makes
like, why
sense.
do these parties keep getting broken
Yeah.
up? We didn't really hide it well.
Yeah, because there's 80 trucks. That's why.
And they run one license plate and it's a 16-year-old.
Right, exactly. There's 20 trucks parked outside because everybody had to drive separately.
A lot of desert bonfires, though. That was more of our
I
vibe.
have heard a lot of bonfires in
Yeah.
Nevada.
It's big time. You either steal pallets or get them from the back of Walmart. And
Sure, why
then,
not?
you know.
Yeah, of course. And so then
old
Reno was
desert
after
bonfire.
that.
Yeah, Reno was after this part of my life.
And did you go to school?
I tried. I dropped out
I
of
tried
community college 4 times.
Yeah, it's really not.
Which was, I was valedictorian in high school and had all these scholarships and stuff. I was
Sure.
voted most likely to cure cancer.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you do that?
I've been just kind of holding back on it because I feel like humanity doesn't deserve it. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna.
I
It's
think-
it's in a caboodle in my closet.
Yeah, in your avalanche. From
Are you
high
working
school?
on that with Joe Biden? I
Yeah.
think he's supposed to be
Me
trying
and
to
old
cure
Sleepy
cancer
Joe.
too.
But yeah, no, I was voted most likely to cure cancer. So I was I was all on the path to be.
What a stupid thing they put in your yearbook.
What pressure? You know?
What pressure?
They could have been just like, "You'll be successful," and they were like, "What about
Yeah.
cancer?"
Most
And it's like,
likely
"What are
just
you
Most likely to
talking
cure
about
cancer. Cut to JOZALYN 18 months later snorting Vicodin off a toilet.
I got a snake boyfriend.
Queen of Laramie.
Literally, I had a loose snake in my house. I had a Vicodin addiction.
It's all part of the process.
yeah.
I gotta get in the mind of cancer to cure it.
Those high school 16-year-olds told me that I gotta cure cancer. But
Like
at least
a
we don't have
Spider-Man.
alligators in the house. That's cool, right?
I mean, and I was just I'm just good at school.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
wasn't literally the other two there was 3 people that gave speeches, and the other 2 guys gave these. They were Bill Gates's 5 keys to success,
Sure.
and I was like, I'm gonna be at the lake drinking
Yeah.
beer.
Let's fucking party, dude. Everybody's like, cancer. She's got it.
I was wearing a shirt that had a bowl on it that said bull shirt.
Yes.
Because again, this is the era of my life where I thought t-shirt comedy was the peak of comedy.
Hot
Bull
topic.
shirt.
We
That's
get
pretty
it. We get it.
Yeah.
Spencer's.
Very
Very
Spencer's.
Spencer's-esque, The only reason I said that was just because you lived in 2 college towns.
Yeah, no, I didn't go to college.
That's the only reason. I wasn't like being like, what about a college degree?
I
It's just
didn't
because
get a
2
degree.
main
A lot of
college towns.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't get a degree. Comedy is the only thing I've ever been able to stick with.
When did you start comedy?
When I moved to Vegas in 2013.
That's great.
Or 2012.
Okay, so Reno to Vegas.
Wait.
That's what we're doing, the move?
2013. Yeah.
Just like a little
well, I
zip.
did I went back to Fallon for a little bit.
Okay.
Spiraled. Hit rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
This
As
is
you
the
do.
consistent story, by the way,
Yeah.
of comedy.
And then my aunt lived in Vegas at the time. She's like, why don't you come live with us? I go down
Cool.
there. I start dating online, and the first date I go on is with a local comic.
Oh, really?
And so all my first group of friends was all the local comedy
Did you
scene.
think you were funnier than him?
No. I thought he was so
really?
funny. But we just didn't vibe. So we broke
Okay.
up after a week, and then I started dating another comic. So I was a comic's girlfriend before I was a comedian.
Wow.
When I
okay.
started comedy, I was just like this guy's girlfriend. And
Right.
Then, yeah.
But you enjoyed it.
I
Yeah.
didn't stop ever since.
How is the comedy scene in Vegas?
It's gotten better since we've gotten Wise Guys. They actually there's a way for you to work up and get to work with great comics. The
Okay.
locals are getting to work with people like Natasha Leggero now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, all the comics were like, you've seen him on Letterman's wacky 500 HBO Max special.
Yeah.
Just very different
Yeah.
vibe. And now we actually have a club that cultivates locals where sometimes the vibe in some of the clubs on the strip, it can be like, we dare you to try and be good
Sure.
enough for our club.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit of the same people over and over again. There's not a lot of opportunities. And whereas Wise Guys actually has 2 open mics.
That's great.
And none of the other clubs have open mics.
Oh, really?
And they actually book locals and they let us produce shows and stuff. So
Hell yeah.
the scene is actually getting invigorated with young comics that are getting better because
Because you have the opportunity.
they have the opportunity.
Yeah,
Wise
they're being
Guys
seen.
is in Salt Lake too, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that
it
the same?
started in Salt Lake, and then Pauly Shore invested and expanded into Vegas, and it started at downtown. But now we have 2 locations. There's one downtown and one at Town Square.
I've heard people really love the one in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake,
And the
yeah.
one that both ones in Vegas I've performed at, and they both have been great. I
That's
love it.
awesome.
I mean, for the most part, people who come to Wise Guys are actual comedy fans.
Right.
Versus on
Yeah.
the strip, it's like somebody who lost money and got it
Tourists,
for
yeah.
free, or it was the cheapest
Right.
ticket at the ticket booth.
Or it's like we're in Vegas. We did the one thing we were gonna come and do, but we're here for a week. What else do we do? Kind
Yeah.
of thing. They're not like it's not like a it's a destination
Yes.
to
Well, and I remember.
do entertainment things.
And
right?
you get a lot more locals at Wise Guys, where it's mostly
Yeah.
tourists.
The
Tourists and
first
stuff
time I
like that.
remember I ever did a casino, it was everyone that had lost money, and it was like a consolation that you got tickets to this comedy show, and it was just they were terrible crowds. Everyone was just
Well, and then
pissed off that
we're
they
all
just
depressed
lost.
comics, so we're like, here's a funny joke about depression, and they're like,
I'm still
I
sad.
they're
lost
like
my
I just
mortgage.
I just lost the house.
yeah. I gotta call my wife after this, but I was gonna get a couple.
And
laughs
we're like,
in first.
I'm so sad because no one wants to buy
Yeah.
my ha-has.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, I have real problems.
And people
kid.
will do stints out in Vegas too, right? Like they'll move there and they'll
Well,
be
even
like,
I have
I'm here for 2
I have
months.
a feature week booked. It's
Yeah.
7 days.
7 days.
A run is 7 days usually,
Oh, that's great.
even middling or hosting.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is great, but also exhausting.
Of course, 100%. Because
Yeah,
you're
so
also
there's
in
a
a
Monday.
casino.
It's like Monday the whole week.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Wow.
Thursday, Friday.
You're in a
July,
casino.
Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I've performed on every major
Because the
holiday.
business doesn't stop in Vegas.
Nope.
What do you see the differences between the summer and the winter?
There's not much of a difference. It's mostly it depends on if events and holidays really.
events and holidays.
Because there's
Okay.
always people coming to Vegas. Always.
So it doesn't matter if it's hot.
Doesn't really matter if it's hot. Doesn't matter if it's cold. Doesn't matter. There's always people coming to Vegas.
Because sometimes we see it here in Colorado where the summers will slow down for our audiences a little bit, but it's just because because you can do stuff outside.
They have more outdoor activities they want to do.
Right, and they're also it's cheaper to go camping than it is to go skiing, and so that's kind of been a little bit of an analysis for that, where you can go up to the
Yeah, the
mountain and you
summertime.
go hike.
Shows are always going to thrive in Vegas because people always want to get out of the heat.
Right. So they're just looking for a place, AC.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Drinks. We're here
Well, and like
anyways.
you get like everybody gets local bits that they do at their local club to like, you know, if a crowd sucks. And one of the ones that I do is because a lot of the times now that we're a weed destination, people have just tried weed for the first time, and now they're in
Tell
like
us
a
about it,
cold
dude.
air conditioned room.
Yeah.
And they're like struggling to stay awake.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's why you're a shitty audience right now.
Yeah.
It's because you made bad grown up choices.
Yeah.
You took an edible and then thought, let's go sit in a dark air conditioned room and listen to a depressed person talk.
I mean, also better than sitting in the heat.
And truthfully,
at like a pool, just like
I don't ever blame them for it because literally they have to put billboards up to remind people to drink water because people literally heat
they
stroke.
forget to water.
Yeah, they just pound booze.
Yeah, they pound booze the whole time. Yeah, and you can also sit and you can play like at the slots, right? And they'll just bring you booze.
They'll just bring
free.
you booze over and over and over and over and over again, and
Crazy.
They will cut you off if you're belligerent or causing issues.
Yeah,
or
if
whatever.
You gotta get
problem.
really drunk to get cut off.
You have
Yeah.
to get really drunk to
Yeah.
get cut off.
One time we were in Elko and
I've never been to Vegas, but
Have been
it's
really
like that a
drunk
lot
and
of
gotten
places.
cut off.
It's
Well,
pretty hard.
we were
it's
at
pretty
a
hard
casino.
to get cut off. If you look like you know
here's
what you're
here's
doing.
how we got cut off. Casino. We're playing blackjack. It's my best friend's husband and my best friend's brother. My best friend's brother-in-law. And so me and the brother-in-law are playing blackjack. We're totally fine. We're playing. We're drinking coffee at this point. We just want to play. We just want to play all night. This is fun. And my best friend's husband goes to the bathroom and passes out in the bathroom stall with his pants down. And then they were like, all right, dude, you're
Now
done.
you're cut off.
Yeah,
You just
you're
have to
done.
go.
So it wasn't even that, like, yes, he was drinking too much, but it wasn't, he was like not mid-drink or they said no more booze. They just found him on the toilet and they were like, you got to go sleep in the truck, dude.
Well, I mean, the bartenders were about to cut off the heckler that I had in Fort Collins at the hotel on Friday. Like, he was so drunk and so bad. Like,
people do it though. They're like, this is my night out. I'm going to have a few and it should be fine. And then they have 8 before the show and you're like, well, you fucked this up
but
for everybody.
I only had to get that level of drunk once in my life
to not do it
to
again.
never do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will have a couple drinks, a few drinks. Even at this most recent family member's funeral where I was with my drinking side of the family, I still didn't have more than maybe 8 drinks in a full day of drinking.
Full day.
Yeah.
I just won't get that drunk. I don't want to be that drunk. I don't like being that drunk. And being around someone who is that drunk
Isn't fun.
enrages me.
Yeah,
It literally enrages me. I can't stand it.
It's really not
The
fun.
incoherent slurring, the inability to have a conversation.
But those people are not good at drinking. Sometimes alcoholics will be good at drinking.
Yeah, and you can't
So
tell
they might
that
have
they're
had
drunk.
that many drinks, but they're not, you don't see the annoyingness.
Yeah, fair.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, that's what they're dealing with. And then all of a sudden, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, dude, I would
you're
black
not
out all the
getting-
time and people would not know.
Have no idea. He was good at it.
You wouldn't know
He was
either.
professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, but we wouldn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
No, right. Well, that was why he was good at it. He was really good at
was
it,
a pro.
which is why he stopped doing it.
I'm good at being stoned all the time. People
Yeah.
didn't know I was stoned all the time for a long time until I just started being more open about it after
Right.
it was legal. And like my club owner was like, "Are you always stoned?" My home club,
Just
I was
a
like,
little bit, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of
Smoke
course.
weed all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's I medicated with it for a long time, you know, when my arthritis was really bad. Now that I've like gotten into fitness, it's gotten a lot better, but I medicated with it for a long time. It helped with just manage the long-term pain without having to be on like medications and stuff. It helped my anxiety. It helped me deal in a lot of ways.
For
And
sure.
now I just like it.
with as far as buying weed in Nevada and Vegas and stuff, I do have to go to the big stores or they're smaller shops.
Oh, there's dispensaries all over the city.
So it's like Colorado.
Yeah,
where you
there's
can-
everyone has like a neighborhood dispensary. My dispensary is 2 stoplights away.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
I'm on
That's
the
great
Green
to have that
Mile, so
accessibility.
I can
Yeah,
walk.
Green Mile.
Do you guys have a medical? You'll have a medical program in Vegas?
We do. I
too?
just haven't gotten my medical card ever because I've
It's a
I've
pain.
never I've had $200 and been like I could get a medical card or I could buy an ounce.
Right, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Well, here it's totally worth it though because when I got my med card and like the first time I went into a shop afterwards, I was like, "Hey, what's your like cheapest ounce?" And they're like 25. I was like, "What? Dollars?"
Yeah. Is it really that cheap?
They have.
How
yeah,
are they
have-
still making
it's
money
outdoor.
medically?
That shit was outdoor.
Yeah, it's greenhouse.
Wow.
But it was still. I mean, it was pretty good for $25.
I mean, listen, as a weed connoisseur, I'll tell you, people sniff their little noses at a 15 to 18% greenhouse flower, but sometimes that shit smokes way better than a 24% indoor.
Of course,
and
of
I'll say that
course.
all
Yeah,
day.
dude, fuck
and
indoor.
and
Yeah.
botanists and stuff say that it's because that the light from the sun activates terpenes and activates chemical compounds that artificial light just can never do.
No, you can't. And it's the intensity of light that's not possible to recreate.
Right.
I love a greenhouse grow.
He does.
I don't grow under lights at all, but
No,
I grow weed.
Sorry. Yeah. Outside.
I have greenhouse. Yeah, greenhouse and outdoor.
outside.
I built my own greenhouse.
I don't know what the
dumpster wood.
words are.
awesome.
I've lost all the words.
It's
yeah.
holding together now for
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 years. I probably need to upgrade some stuff, but
Yeah.
we can grow 6 plants here in Colorado.
Can you grow plants out there?
If you have a medical card, you're grandfathered in, but pretty much no.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to make that money, dude.
Yeah, that's why they want it.
Well, and they almost ran into the Portland problem where they over licensed. And so they like licensed a bunch of people and then they pulled the reel in. But then they fast tracked. Now we have consumption lounge licenses. So now we have like consumption lounge. Like there's a Friday night comedy show in Vegas where there's a dab bar.
There's a consumption. You guys have consumption because we didn't really do that.
Yeah, we
that
have
was one of the things
consumption
we kind of.
Colorado tries. We kind of
try.
have them, but not really.
Yeah.
Our consumption lounges are actually kind of dope, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, you go up to the bar, you pay $5, they load a dab, the bartender chats with you, they do all the hard work, you take the dab.
Okay, so
Or you can get a pre-roll or whatever.
concentrates, but not flour.
You can buy
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 flour?
pre-rolls and stuff.
Oh, you buy it from them. You
From
don't
the
bring
bar.
your own.
From the bar, yeah.
See, I think that ours
Here-
were like you bring your
well,
own and you can smoke it here.
What had happened was basically the state has made it legal, but they will not make it legal with to be a path to profitability.
Yeah.
So they can't make money.
Well,
here.
and
So you can't buy it from them.
No, you're supposed to buy it from them. You can't smoke outside weed on the dispensary.
But I think for ours,
Well, in Colorado,
was
it's just
bring your own.
the laws are weird, and the only ones that have survived are like connected to a dispensary or something.
right? So then they
you have
wouldn't
to
really
go
make any
next
money because
door.
they'd still have that cheap entry fee.
Yeah, no, they're making
know?
money in Nevada.
That's great.
I mean, but we also have weed tourism because Vegas was already a tourist town.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are coming from all over the world and buying bags and bags. They're bringing whole crews in
right.
so everyone can get their because we have 2.5 ounces as our limit to buy.
Oh, 2.5. That's
Per
isn't
people.
that what our medical is?
Medical's 2, but it depends. If you have a serious enough condition, I think you can get up to like a half a pound.
But
Okay.
recreationally in Nevada, it's 2.5 ounces per
Wow.
person.
Yeah.
So you can buy a lot of weed if there's a few of you.
Right.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course. Of course.
And
That's
there's
so
good deals.
interesting.
Like I often get like $100 ounces.
Right. Right. You can find all the good deals because you have all those stores.
Yeah, no deals will impress us as Denverites. The weed is dirt cheap here.
It
You've
is
had it a
cheap.
lot longer.
We have, and we started it.
And that's how Portland is. Like Portland has $60 ounces.
Well,
Right.
it's a lot easier to grow outdoors in Oregon, so that's.
But
part of
I
what
have
drives the
noticed a
price
lot of my
down.
favorite Denver dispensaries because I've been coming here for a long time. I've been coming here for long periods of time. And I have my favorite dispensaries and they got bought out and
They did.
the
Yeah,
prices are going up.
Yep.
Who do you like to go to? What shop do you like?
There used to be a dispensary. It's on off of 38th and it's kind of near 38th and Federal.
Okay,
It's in between.
it's not
a couple-
Fox Street, is it?
Maybe, I don't know, but it's now like urban dispensary is what it is
Yeah,
now.
they're all getting bought out because now the
interesting.
Canada legalization is really.
Yeah. Canada came in and bought a bunch.
Well, and it's corporatizing big time. Like the dispensary I worked at when I was a bud tender was super corporate. Like we couldn't even have. We had to have all black shoes. We couldn't have
Really?
like the regional manager would come in and write you up if you had like a white detail.
Fuck that. dude.
Whoa.
And
what
I'm
a
like,
weird.
we're selling weed.
Yeah. Nobody's looking at our shoes.
And we all wore like these like crew necks with like embroidered with the
Wild.
it just was like it's a very different thing now. But well, because they're trying to make it feel accessible to
everybody.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So people feel comfortable buying it. Because
Right.
they'll also go into the Apple
Destroying it.
store.
Well,
and
Well,
stuff.
yeah, because there
Yeah.
is a little bit of a stigma still, Like,
Sure, of course.
I know people that their parents smoke heavily, but still won't go buy it. They make their
Right.
kids go get it for them.
Yeah, I don't think our state has that as much, but we're still a lot more blue.
But yeah, no, they definitely. I get what you're saying though. They want it to feel like like you're going to fucking Chipotle.
Apple store.
Or,
Yeah.
or
Chipotle
the
or
grocery
whatever.
store. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason even those like food shops all kind of look the
Well,
same.
we have a lot
like,
of drive-through dispensaries now, so you put the order in online and you just drive up.
what a
through.
cool thing.
It's way better.
Yeah, you don't even have to get out of the
No,
AC.
it's
You're
the
just in the
best.
car.
Which we deliver now. We have delivery.
We have
now
delivery
for
too,
medical and
yeah.
stuff.
But delivery is always like a $75 minimum, and then I'm like one of those people that because I've
tried.
worked a lot of delivery jobs, I always overtip.
Yeah.
right, so
So-
you're spending more. It has to
spend
be
a lot.
convenience.
Yeah, the only time I did
I've never
delivery
gotten it
was during the
delivered.
pandemic,
Yeah.
and that was just because you could only do delivery for
That
a long
makes sense.
time.
Yeah,
or
that-
curbside. I think they started curbside shortly after.
Yeah, I think we were doing curbside and stuff like that.
It's weird, the laws, and it's also county by county here. So some counties will let you get it delivered, and other counties are
Yeah,
still...
I learned that the hard way and had to take a $75 Uber from
No.
the Colorado Springs airport
Springs, yep.
to Manitou Springs to get weed.
Yes.
When I was doing loonies one weekend, because usually if I'm going somewhere and I have to pick up weed when I get there, I'll just get an Uber from the airport to whatever dispensary is close or
Yeah.
So
to
you had to go to
whatever person I know.
Maggie,
And
you had to
Yeah.
go to Maggie's farm.
yeah, and I went
Yeah,
to, I
that's
The
went
Yeah,
to
it's
worst
in Manitou
dispensary
Springs.
ever.
where they make you wait outside.
Yeah, they make you wait
I've never
outside.
been there, but I know it sucks.
I got a pretty good deal though, and so I was like happy with it. But I literally, the guy was like, "I'll take you there," and I was like, "All right." So I changed the destination, but it was a $45 Uber ride.
No.
Yeah.
You should have just
Yeah,
told
the
one of the
Springs-
one of the Denver comics on the show to just bring you weed.
Well, now I do.
That's
Now-
the
now
best
you
way
know.
to do
Yeah.
it,
The
right?
Springs, I think, finally came around, and they're gonna let shops.
Yeah, but that
open
it's
now.
been 10 years. It's been over 10 years that we've legalized. Right?
Well, it
Yeah.
was that in Vegas. I live in Henderson, and when it first got legalized, there was no dispensaries in Henderson. The city
Right.
did not want
the
dispensaries.
county. Yeah, dude, the Springs is finally folded. They
I
said
think
no
they
to that
have to
money for a
eventually
long ass
fold,
time.
right?
But I mean, weed's gonna win. Sorry, guys. The
Yeah.
world. You're not.
Well,
putting
because weed is
Pandora back in
money.
the
And
box.
even the people who judge people who smoke weed, smoke weed.
Yeah, everybody smokes weed.
yeah,
dude.
it's also just it is money. It's just they're still making money. So it's like it's just stupid business.
It's
you know
like
what
the
I mean?
alcohol industry. The alcohol
Yeah.
industry makes an insane amount of money.
Of course they
Yeah.
do.
Well, they're the ones
Dude,
that's fighting
I've gotten alcohol
legalization.
sponsorships for shows and stuff before, and they'll just cut you a check without
Really?
ever meeting you.
Really?
Just a good email exchange and a couple of,
Hey, that.
you know,
You're the one that drinks. Don't look at me.
Like if
No, you can sell things. What the hell?
you know a good contact,
Yeah.
you know, and for them it's like nothing because they're doing like $100,000 sponsorships for things with CBS
Big stuff.
or ESPN,
Big, big,
right?
big.
So to cut a check for $1,500 for a little comedy festival I was producing,
Yeah.
you know, they're
Who
like,
cares?
Yeah, here, great. You
Yeah,
know?
right? Of course.
well, they're fighting. They're fighting the legalization. The booze people are.
Yeah, because that's what they want. They want
because
want
they
to
want
stay on
people to
top.
keep drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's over now. The daily smokers has now outpaced daily
really?
drinkers. Yeah.
Well, and all of the data shows that there's so many more positive. There's no positive benefits to drinking alcohol unless you're drinking one glass of wine a day.
Right.
No, even
right.
that study was fucking bullshit.
Well, and there's all these positive studies for weed and when it comes to everything.
I know.
Yeah, it's so much better for you aside from maybe the lung health. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah, you are fucking up your lungs, but
Then we're
people
doing
smoke
so much
cigarettes,
other
we
things.
vape,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I mean, I'm pro weed all day. I think I don't even go to places where it's not legal anymore because I don't consider that to be real America.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that.
Well, you're just
We
not
went to
going to let people
Texas.
smoke weed? Like,
Yeah, I do hate that.
yeah, like you're going to oppress people?
Yeah, yeah. Texas has Delta 8
Delta 8.
now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We went to a shop when we were down there, and I shitted on him so hard. I was like, "Y'all are charging $20 a gram."
I was
for
like, will
fake
you let
weed?"
these people just work their damn job? They don't like it either. They just need to get paid and pay their fucking rent. Leave these people
Because I
alone.
wanted it, because I grow, and so I was kind of like, "Yo, can I get seeds from any of this stuff just to see what happens and
Yeah.
like cross it and see if I get some high CBD or something, you know?" Because I have a friend that can test for me, and I mean these days it's very accessible in Colorado, but they were like, well, they were selling like $20 gram CBD weed, and they're like, well, some of it has seeds in it, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's not worth it.
no, dude, I'm not.
Yeah, and
I
we had
was
to
like
travel.
shitting
We
on
were
him so
driving
hard.
and
I
stuff
was
like
like,
that
that's
too.
hilarious.
I don't know.
It's
I
just
just
gonna
feel
be
like
one
Delta 8,
person.
it's gonna come out. It's like if we're gonna like legalize it it's like how
Just legal the whole thing.
Yeah,
It
it's-
legalize the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's like how Utah has beer, but it's not.
it's
like,
3-2 beer.
it's-
Yeah.
They're like it's not quite beer,
Yeah.
but it's
There was one point in Utah.
Incrementalism. Jesus, that's what Jesus was all about.
Right. And there was one time where we went and then we couldn't order alcohol unless we ordered
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
So we had to order even an appetizer for us to share, and then we could have glasses of wine.
Yeah, Utah still does some weird shit like that.
They do weird ass shit. They do weird
Yeah, like
shit
how
out
they
there.
make you sit in a tent instead of the hotel if you're menstruating.
No,
I'm
that's
kidding.
not a real thing. I'm kidding. When did we record this episode?
Yeah, where they make you wear the special underwear and chant around the statue. You guys remember?
You guys remember that?
chanting?
You guys
yeah,
remember when we had to slit a goat's throat and drink its blood?
Yeah.
Dude, I did
Donnie
science work in Utah, and I remember when we were like meeting with the BLM people, the Bureau of Land Management, which owns a lot of the recreation areas in Utah. They like warned us. They're like, yo, if you see like a big tent, it was like there's a lot of like, you know, weird kind of
shit.
cult groups, and they're basically don't mess with
Because
them.
if a
like,
sociopath
call
or a
us.
narcissist is born into Mormonism, they're like, jackpot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
And that's basically what they're saying.
"Let's
They're like, yeah,
go."
they're like they're doing weird like child marriages.
Yeah.
and,
I can do whatever I
cult
want.
stuff.
I'm a
God
true crime
told me.
junkie, so I
Yeah.
listen
And
to
you-
a lot of stories that start
Yeah.
with.
And so that's what they said. They're like, yeah, that's something the BLM, like, we're trying to get more funding to combat it because, yeah, these cult groups just set up
They homestead.
camps. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a lot of land out there. I
And
mean,
then
I
they
guess
just
there's a lot of land in
commit
Nevada
horrible
too.
acts against children.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the consistency. But there's a lot of land in Nevada and
Same
Utah and
thing.
places like that where
There's also a
empty,
lot of
yeah.
mysterious
Metallic.
military land in
Oh,
Nevada.
military,
right,
but-
exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention.
Yeah,
to
they
where
tested
they
all the
are.
bombs and stuff out there. So there's certain
Which was
places
another
that-
wild field trip they took me on. Is they drove us around the
test bombs?
the test site. They drive you through the test site and they show you where they tested the bombs and stuff. They took us to Yucca Mountain in like the 5th grade.
What?
What is that?
That's where they dump radioactive waste in Nevada.
How is that legal? You're not
Because
breathing in anything.
it was a permission slip.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not breathing any. Why do they? I mean, I get the idea of like talking about it, but there's no chance that you're breathing in something bad or anything. I don't think they care. It's Nevada.
Well,
They didn't stop me from sniffing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
marker that smelled like cherries. So.
yeah, they were like, she stays quiet afterwards. It's fine. We don't have to do that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess also they, you know, it's buried down in the ground.
Yeah, and
So I think
rural parents think shit like that's good for you.
Right. You're
Yeah.
learning something while you're
Yeah.
outside. You
when
should be
in reality,
fine.
we didn't even care about the radioactive waste site. We
Yeah.
were all just marveled by how big the tires were on the equipment. So we were all just like
course.
punching and kicking the tires and running around the tires
This is
and
the
asking the
biggest
teacher
truck
to
I've
take
ever
pictures
seen.
Yeah,
of
big
us with the
trucks.
tire.
Big trucks, big tractors.
You can see a theme.
Farm town. Yep. That's why Kenny Chesney
yeah.
still plays in your head every time you drive through. I get that. And Toby, we just like tires out here.
Tires.
I know
great.
more than one girl with a John Deere tattoo.
Oh, interesting.
Runs
I wonder
like a
how
deer.
popular that is. It must
Quite
be
popular in rural girl,
In rural girl
especially like
towns.
rural rockabilly culture, because there's like
Sure.
a lot of rockabilly girls that are like rural.
I've also heard Harley Davidson is one of the
Very
one of the most tattooed.
Logos.
Monster, Harley Davidson,
Probably-
Iron Man.
I would guess Calvin would be after that.
Calvin probably. Yeah, well, you're just seeing a lot of
I feel like
trucks
if you
out
put-
there. That's all. That's what you got.
If you put
Yeah.
cartoon characters into a category, I think that would probably
Cartoon
trump.
characters.
yeah,
There's some
that's true.
Disneys out there. There's
A
some
lot of
Looney
Winnie the Pooh
Tunes.
tattoos.
Oh, that makes sense.
A
for
lot of
sure.
Winnie the Pooh tattoos.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. That
People
totally makes
that
sense.
just really like wearing shirts and not pants.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Pooh.
I'm so Winnie the Pooh.
I'm Pooh. I'm Pooh Bear most of the time, and then my little dog is Piglet. I think.
Is Piglet? I don't
he's
remember. Eeyore, I would probably identify the most with Eeyore.
Of
'cause I
course
was
you would. That is
depressed a lot.
exactly who you are.
Yeah.
depressed a lot.
You're 100% Eeyore.
Well, you know, what can I say?
See?
I
It's
became aware of the suffering in the world at a young age.
And
so-
that is what Eeyore
Would
would say.
say.
Yeah. On that note, let's do our plugs. We got to wrap this up.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much
thank
for
you for
coming
having
out.
me.
I'm glad we got to catch you while you're in town. What are some good plugs? Where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
Instagram's my home. That's like where I post the most.
Yes.
I mean, you can literally see my everyday life in my stories.
That's
I
great.
literally post everything at JOZALYN SHARP. You can go to JOZALYNSHARP.com and it has everything, or go to my Instagram at JOZALYN SHARP. The link's in the bio. It has all my upcoming shows, all my social media. Sometimes I stream on Twitch randomly. Sometimes I post YouTube videos randomly. But for the most part, it's Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
Dope.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook.
Yep, WolfHawk Comedy. I'm Mike Hawkburns or Mr. Mike Hawkburns.
And I'm at Lizzy
everything.
Wolfson. So you can find us on there. And then please subscribe to YouTube before I throw my head through a fucking wall. We talked about this last night. I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Subscribe, like, review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I do love you all. I love that you're here right now. If you're still here,
Yeah, don't threaten them, Lizzie.
I'm not threatening them. I'm threatening me. I'm saying you don't do this thing. I'm gonna hurt myself.
Drop a beach emoji
Big
if
thanks
you
to-
like
big
the
thanks to-
go-go beach
Bro,
killer.
put fucking emoji in these comments, dude. It's not that hard. Just do that, please.
And big thanks to Dude IDK Studios for
Yeah,
recording us.
For
and
taking
for being
care
so
of us
awesome.
every week, baby. We'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.